So this is the second part in using mean and variance formula, and this is when I add or I multiply numbers to the mean and the variance or standard deviation. So I'll give you a minute if you want to pause the video and have a look at this question. I'll do the answers. So the first part is pretty straightforward. We've already got a mean of 14 and a variance of 16. And the first part is just saying, well, what's going to happen if I add 3 onto each of those? Well, the new mean would just be 14 and 3. Now what's going to happen with the standard deviation is, imagine you've got your standard deviation, all your data spread out like that, and if you add 3, you're just going to move that same spread but further along. So it's just shifted by 3. So your new standard deviation is going to be the 16 stays exactly the same. We don't add 3, just 16. So that if that spread there is 16, the new spread will also be 16. Very straightforward. And of course that means that your variance will be the square root of that. So B is a little bit more complicated. When I add 30%, my multiplying factor is 1.3. So that's the same as adding 30% to something. Now what I do here for the second mean is I take 14, the original mean, and I times it by 1.3. So that will give me 14 times 1.3, 18 pounds and 20. And with the variance, what's going to happen is I multiply that 16, which is my original variance, by 1.3 squared. And that gives me 27.02. 04 rather. And what I can do now to work out my standard deviation, I could just take the square root of the answer, which gives me 5.2. But there's another way that I could have worked it out. Remember our standard deviation before was 4. If I times that by 1.3 without the square part, it gives me the 5.2. So there's two ways of working that out. The first way is obviously square rooting the variance, and the second way is just taking the standard deviation and multiplying it by 1.3.